In terms of the water supply and sanitation, this is what has been done everywhere here in the desert, which is a kind of report which I don't need to show for researchers now. The very important one is here. In 10-year National Prospective Plan, the standard of defining water supply. What does it mean? 25 liters per capita per day within 1 kilometer. Actually now it's almost under the verge of changing now, which is coming to half kilometer. So that's why if you see in Ethiopia, the water coverage, once upon a time, they have been saying 90%, 95%. It is not only the data quality problem. There is a change on the standard. Because the more the livelihood of the people changes, the more water they demand. The more the climate becomes variable, the more water we use. The more urbanization we are going to have, the more demand we have. All those things are changing from time to time. By the time we define some target and move to that, the standard will come and then pull down. They will come and pull down. So, in terms of research, which you can keep, is that really possible for our mothers, our sisters in the village to go 1 kilometer and get 25 liters per capita per day per person and mobilize that? If in one family we do have a minimum 5 members, 5 household members, husband, wife, 3 children, you can think this volume of water demand. This is theoretical. Let's reduce by 2. Who is responsible for that? Is that not true? Our mothers and sisters are carrying that burden. That's what does mean when we talk about the water and the sanitation. The main topic to address is how we can minimize the burden on our sisters, our mothers, or children. That is fact in Ethiopia in every rural area. Earlier time when we were in school, I myself, we used to go and bring water. How? To support the family member. Is there no way we can have special technology when we have some rainfall? At the end, I will note a point. We can think how mothers, sisters, family members can get water in their vicinity, on their yard, when we have another opportunity of having rainfall. Why should they go? Why should they spend their time? 1 kilometer minimum, it may take them like 20 minutes. Round trip, like 30 minutes. If they go twice per day, the calculation we can imagine. What I want you to have attention here is not the numbers, but so this is standard. Can't we change this? This is the pattern how it has been growing. So there are some flagship works that has been done now at national level. One thing is the climate resilient wash, focusing on areas where there is a dry or drought with less rainfall. Government try to mobilize some treasury, budget from treasury and from WASH to address the demand for the water supply, especially in Somali, Afar, west part of Amara, Tigray, and Benishangul, Gambela, South as well. Now, this may not be an interest again to this group. What should be an interest for this group is, what should I do? What do we have in this area? What's the groundwater potential there? What's the groundwater quality there? Is that affordable? In terms of availability, I think very important issue to be seen. Last point, which may take like 2 or 3 minutes. Sorry, I will finish soon. As a ministry, we now started the water supply sector, how really we can assist or minimize the burden that is on the family. For example, in short, roof water harvesting. Minimum we can have 500 millimeter rainfall per year in the worst area. Actually, we can have below that, but there is no settlement there. It may not be an issue. If we can work upon this 500 millimeter of rainfall collection, create a pond on their yard, store the water at least for 3 or 4 months, during the rainy period, they use for 3 or 4 months. We can imagine how we can change the family. As per the standard we have done through our Water Technology Institute, if we have like a family having 5 family members, 18 to 20 meter cube may be sufficient for 3 months, which actually depends again on the location, on the climate, and whatever we say. At least if we take that 20, it's not so difficult to dig a storage pond with simple dimension. If we take 20, 4 by 5, if there is no depth, we can consider that one. 3 by 2 and something. We can have some dimension with appropriate geometric design. Can be trapezoid, can be rectangle, can be parabolic, which is pure hydraulics, what we know. We can do it. If we use geomembrane, cheaper, to avoid the infiltration, the seepage, then we can connect that to the gutter, to the house. Is that what's possible? I think those of our friends who stay in India, the standard of housing is known by that. For construction of a new house, the plan needs to be get permitted if they have storage or not. What makes we Ethiopians not to use it? We have land, we have rainfall, we have labor again. A lot of youngsters are at home. Should not we think that way? What will be the impact? How should it be done? I know some years back, government has tried to use it, but it was abused, the water harvesting, because it was not criticized by professionals, it was not endorsed by academicians, the idea was not seen. When it came to ground, the payback was bad. So currently, if you want to go and tell Ethiopians about Uhamakor, they will say, oh, trouble. So how to change it? The mindset. As a ministry, we have good start. Maybe in 2 or 3 months maximum, you will see a change on ground. We developed a pilot in the Water Technology Institute, how much we can store, how we can pump out, including treadle pump, which is expensive, but much cheaper pumps are there, where they can use rope and the washer pump, for example. Cost nothing. People can utilize that, change the life of people. This one, what we see here is a mini treatment, simple treatment. It's a kind of bow sand, which actually is not, but replaced with similar parameter. At least we can minimize the impurity. Physically, we can filter. We can change. If 1 million household we can do it per year, 5 million in each family, in 4 or 5 years, we can see our fingerprint on each door of Ethiopians in every part. Something needs to be done on that area. You can keep note in the work. The one which I go very fast will be the energy sector. This is where Ethiopia's energy is the past, when we are comparing them with availability. So the potential energy we have at this magnitude, number 1 is hydropower. The other one is solar, wind, geothermal, and so on. So how should we make some topic out of solar, for example, this day? Hydropower, wonderful, we know it, we have good experience. is there not a possibility we can define appropriate solar technology or adapt and then implement for Ethiopians? The solar concept, it will be helpful for the off-grid, for one village, for one town, even we can integrate for water supply. The main challenge we are having in Ethiopia for water supply interruption is power variability. Or they don't have diesel now. It's getting expensive. If we can work upon solar pumps, for example, how we can just import one solar pump and see what is inside. Work upon that, especially those from electrical, from mechanical. It is a pure research area. If there is a potential, really there is something where we can knock the house of our people and then see change on their livelihood. Win the same and the other one other. So this is the plan, what Ethiopia is intending to do. Currently we are around 4,800 or like that, Dr. Sultan, if I'm not mistaken, after we inaugurated the first round generation of our turbine. In 2 or 3 months time, it will be having more 375. In 2 or like years, we're going to have the 5,000 plus others also coming. This one, we put it X to know, actually we know our time, but no need to talk at what time we're going to complete what we have around. So by 2035, anyway, Ethiopia is going to have this magnitude of power. This will help us not only for domestic purpose, export to our neighbors to create some cooperation, some linkage, some bargaining power. So why should we do it? Very importantly, yesterday there was a wonderful question that was raised, how we can proceed it and make our neighbors really trust us. Why don't we go for providing them scholarship, for example, as a university? Let them come here, stay in our village, see how Ethiopians are hospitable and good people, how you are good, let's win their heart. By the time they go back, they say, okay, we will buy. I think you understand what I mean. So this is our gap, which actually we don't need so much to say it. With electricity, how it is going. Currently, those of you who are interested, really we need the support as a profession. The energy policy. The draft is there. We prepared it. I think once or twice it has been presented to stakeholders. We need more engagement in our energy policy. For example, just to give you a tip, there is a move from Globe to use green hydrogen. What does green hydrogen mean? It needs to be research-based, by the way. It's not only dreaming or going for that. And everyone, or another part of, for example, in Africa or wherever, they try to purify the seawater or the ocean water and they use that one for the green hydrogen. Purifying that seawater surface is its own problem. Is that green or no? They use gas, coal or diesel to produce the green hydrogen. They call it green. It's no more green because of the way you produce this. So what does that mean anyway? We pose that question and that will help us again to know, to have that. This is the energy diversification. This is the roadmap. What we want to do. It was prepared within GTP2. That's why we see the Sudan together. Already before a month, we signed MOU with South Sudan, where they want to have power from Ethiopia. With Sudan, there is already. With Djibouti, there is already an agreement. With Kenya, last week, Dr. Sultan was talking with the supervision team from World Bank. The system is already extended there. So about the tariff, about the policy, what can we attain? It is give and take. there should be a lot of questions in your mind now that needs to be addressed. So all these are about the energy part. The flagship on energy is about light for all, which we are working upon them by 2025. Total access by population will be 100. So what does this mean now? Is that possible? Is that real? Or is it fantasy? To achieve that, we need to work upon garbage. To achieve that, we need to work upon solar. We need to work upon our wind. Final slide. We, as a ministry, really, we are already working with the university. Again, we need to have special affiliation, commitment, how we can work in terms of education, training, capacity building, in terms of joint research, advisory service, from university to the ministry, from ministry to the university again. I hope all those slides which I try to put in terms of the water source, in terms of water supply, in terms of the energy, in most of you, the participants, a lot of question mark might be popping now. How? What? This. That question needs to be addressed. Maybe if it is the will of God, in 2 years, when there is another symposium, or when there is another symposium in Ethiopia, to present about our water source, about our energy issue, about the livelihood improvement of our people using our water source availability. Thank you very much.